Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Kodi Samaprabha. Nirvignam Kurme Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Sarva Lokanam Vishashe Paparoginam. Hridaye Sarva Vidyanam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Shruti Smrti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam. Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Apara Karuna Sindhum Jnanadham Shantarupinam. Shri Chandrasekhara Gurum Pranamami Mudanvaham. Tadandevasi Varyancha Jeevodharana Tatparam. Shri Jayendra Gurum Pujyam Pranamami Mudanvaham. Chaturdashavaya Praptam Sanyasam Sumahamatim. Namami Shankararambham Shri Vijayendra Saraswati. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam. Asmatacharya Paryanta Mande Guru Paramparam. Swasti Vachanam. Om Shri Kanchi Kamakoti Pithadipati Jagat Guru Shri Shankaracharya Shri Charanayo Shri Pranamah Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shri Mahatripura Sundari Sameta Shri Chandramolishwaraya Namaha Swasti Stri Madakila Bhumandala Lankara Trayastrim Satkodi Devata Sevita Shri Kamakshi Devi Sanata Srimate Kamranata Shri Mahadevi Sanata Shri Hastigirinath Sakshatkara Paramadishtana Satyavrata Namangita Kanchi Divya Kshetre Sharada Matha Sustitanam Atulita Sudarasa Madhurya Kamalasana Kamini Dammilla Sampulla Mallika Malika Nishyanta Makaranda Jari Sauvastika Vagnigumba Vitrmanananda Dundilita Maneshi Mandalana Annavarada Dvaita Vidya Vinodarasikana Nirantaralankritikrita Shantidanti Bhumna Sakala Bhavana Chakra Pratishtabhaka Shri Chakra Pratishtha Vikhyade Asholankrithanam Nikila Pashanda Shanda Kantakotpadanena Vishadikrita Veda Vedanta Marga Shanmata Pratishthabhakacharyanam Srimat Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Varya Shri Jagat Guru Srimat Shankara Bhagavat Padacharyanam Adhishtane Simhasana Vishikta Shrimat Chandrasekharendra Saraswati Samyamindrana Adhishtane Simhasana Vishikta Shri Jayendra Saraswati Samyamindrana Ante Vasi Varya Shrimat Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Shri Padanancha Charana Nalinayoham Shaprachayam Chandilivadhancha Namaskurmaha. Hari Om. Kanchi Kamakoti Seva Foundation Midwest Chapter welcomes all the viewers on live stream on YouTube to this month's Kamakoti Parayana Mandali. As you're all familiar, Kamakoti Parayana Mandali, we do monthly programs, lectures, discourses, slokas, recitations by kids, and Devi Stotram, Stutis, and all kinds of different activities. So for this month, we have Shri Aravind Hariharan ji, who will be presenting a lecture talk on Shivanandalahari on this auspicious Shukla Dwadashi Tithi. Shri Aravind Hariharan ji, he is from Bloomington. He has done Veda Dhyanam, is well versed in Sanskritam, and also is very involved in Dakshina Sampradaya Pantadi Vachanas. And he has also previously given a lecture in this Kamakoti Parayana Mandali last year, October-November timeframe. So we welcome Shri Aravind ji and listen to his Shivanandalahari lecture. Hari Om.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha. Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Yogonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam sanjeevayatyakila shakti dharaswadhamna. Yogonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam sanjeevayatyakila shakti dharaswadhamna. Anyascha hastacharana shravanatvagadin प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् नमः पार्वतीपतये हर हर महादेव. Shri Appayya Bhagavan in Krishnavatara in his famous Bhagavad Geetha says Paritrāṇāya sadhūnam vināṣāya ca duṣkrita dharma samsthapanārthāya sambhavāmi yuge yuge sambhavami yuge yuge sambhavami. In time and again, I make myself available to do two things. Paritrāṇāya sadhūnam vināṣāya ca duṣkrita. And his avatara, Bhagavan's avatara, Parameshwara avatara, Shambhoho Murtihi Charati Bhuvane Shankaracharya Rupa, is a very famous line from Madhaviya Shankara Vijaya. Ajnantargaganapatitanatmavidyopadeshaihi त्रातुं लोकान् भवदवनशिखा तापपापाच्यमानान् मुक्त्वा वटविटपि नो मूलतो निष्पतन्ति शम्भोः मूर्तिः चरति भुवने शङ्कराचार्य रूपया. The verse very beautifully explains the earlier verse of Bhagavad Geetha, where Bhagavan says, I come to destroy something and to protect something. Vinashaya Prakshanartha. What is that? Bhagavad Pada really destroyed. Ajnanantargaganapatitan tratum. Papa tapachyamanan muktva maunam vatavitapino maunam muktva vatavitapinaha Mulato nishpatanti Shambhoho Murtihi Adyapi Charati. That Shambhu Murti who destroyed the ignorance in our minds and lighted the lamp of Jnana, that Murti of Bhagavad Padacharya is available even today. That Murti of Bhagavad Padacharya, what does it mean when we say it is even available today? He walks this world as the Acharya in the much established by Bhagavad Padacharya as our own Acharya today. But then there is another meaning too. The original Acharya is also available today for us in the form of his works. His granthas, his works are the way by which we come to know of Bhagavad Padacharya even today. It could be a small stotra or a grand bhashya that is being studied, but the essence of the teaching of Bhagavad Padacharya is very well grounded in every one of his work. In fact, many people say that every one of his bhashyams or stotrams or Prakarana Granthas are all complete by itself. Any one of them is capable of imparting the knowledge that we need and destroying our ignorance. Having said that, I just wanted to give a 1 minute introduction into the general works of Bhagavad Padacharya. They are generally classified into three main categories. We do not know what exactly are the works written by the Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya, but every Acharya who has come as Shankaracharya for us is equivalent to the Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya because Shambhoho Murtihi Adyapi Charati Bhuvane Shankaracharya Rupa. And his main work are the Prasthanatraya Bhashyas. What are Prasthanatraya Bhashyas? Generally, the corpus of Vedanta is divided into three main categories. One are the Dashopanishad, which is Shruti Pramana, and the Sutras of Bhagavan Vedavyasa, Badarayana Sutras that are small notes composed by Bhagavan Vedavyasa to teach the essence of the Upanishads. It starts with Atato Brahma Jignasa, Janmadhyasya Yataha, Shastrayo Vidvat. Small lines like this. And they cannot be understood without a proper commentary on them. And it was Bhagavad Padacharya who first really brought out the heart of Vedavyasa and explained these small sutras and made an elaborate commentary. In fact, the commentary starts as Asmad Yushmat Pratyaya Gochara Yoko Vishaya Vishayino Tamaprakashavat Vat Viruddha Swabhavaha. It is a very beautiful observation that Bhagavad Padacharya makes, that there is basically one confusion that exists in this world, which is the one that I think as I and the one that I think is this. I think this is a computer and this is me. And when you investigate what this is, then body is this. And if you go on investigating that, what is this? What is that I? The I automatically resolves in Atma. And all the confusion exists because we tend to mix that I and this. This is a very lofty Vedantic idea that Bhagavad Padacharya puts right away in his Bhashyam, in his Brahma Sutra Bhashya. And that Bhashya, the introduction to Brahma Sutra Bhashya is called as Adhyasa Bhashya. In fact, many people even criticize saying that he didn't even have a Mangalacharanam. But for Bhagavad Padacharya, Akaradi Kshakanta Rupaye Namaha, Ambal is available as the very sound A. So he starts with Asmad Yushmat Pratyaya Gochara Yoho. That Akara Shabda itself is a salutation to Amba Kamakshi. So he just starts his commentary like that. And like that, he has commented on every one. 500 and odd sutras are there, and he has commented elaborately with Shruti Pramana mainly, and Smriti and other Pramanas to explain the essence of all these Upanishads. The central idea is very simple. All the Upanishads take a different approach towards teaching it. But is there a consistent teaching available in all the 10 Upanishads? Is there consistency among the Upanishads? That question is what is answered by the commentary by Acharya, and the answer is definitely. And the intent of all these Upanishads is to explain and to point out the real nature of the self, the Atma Swarupam. That is the central teaching of Bhagavad Padacharya. And along the Brahma Sutra Bhashya, Bhagavad Padacharya has written commentaries on all the 10 Upanishads. Ishavasya, Kena, Kata, Prashna, Mundaka, Mandukya, Aitareya, Taittiriya, Chandokya, and Brihadaranyaka Upanishads. All the 10 Upanishads he has written a commentary on very elaborately. There is a small commentary, and beyond this, there is Bhagavad Geetha Bhashya. And these three constitute of the Prasthanatraya Bhashyams of Bhagavad Padacharya. Beyond that, he has written small commentaries on Nrasimha Tapini Upanishad, Sanat Sujatiyam, which is another portion of Mahabharata, where Sanat Kumara comes and does a Jnanopadesham to Dhritarashtra because Vidura calls him at the middle of the night. Vidura meditates upon Sanat Kumara, and Sanat Kumara, being a Brahma Rishi, could just manifest like that and then impart wisdom on Dhritarashtra. And it really fructifies at a later stage when Dhritarashtra leaves everything, goes to the forest, meditates on his Atma, and attains Mukti. That is how Mahabharata puts it. So, that Sanat Sujatiyam is another beautiful portion that is taken up for elaborate commentary by Bhagavad Padacharya. Beyond this, there are two beautiful commentaries. One is the commentary on Vishnu Sahasranama. In fact, the preface of that commentary is so beautiful to read, by where Bhagavad Padacharya brings all the pramanas that are there to really show that chanting the divine name of Bhagavan is an easy way to purify one's heart and get rid of kama, krodha, and other durvasanas. The same is seen in Lalita Trishati Bhashya as well. The 15 letters of Panchadashakshari are taken up in sequence in Lalita Trishati, making up the 300 names. And Katara Rupa, Kalyani, Kadamba Vanavasini, every one of this, Bhagavad Padacharya gives a Vedantic view for this text, which is very beautiful. And Hastamalaka Acharya's he writes a commentary on his own disciples' work called Hastamalakiyam and so on. These are generally the Bhashya Granthas. There are other ones that are not very popular too. But then another category that is attributed to Bhagavad Padacharya or his own individual works called Prakarana Granthas that are generally studied before one goes and studies Vedanta Bhashyas. These are called Prakarana Granthas, and they serve a very beautiful purpose because even the terminology that is used in Vedanta has to be understood. Say, if somebody says horsepower, what does it say? Is it the power of a horse, or is it horsepower as in we use in electronics? So that kind of an idea as to the terminology, paribhasha jnanam, as we call it, is needed to be able to venture into Vedanta. That is put forward in small texts like Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Viveka Chudamani, Aparokshanubhuti, Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Sara Sangraha. There is another Prashnottara Ratna Malika, beautiful text. Every question, Sishya puts forward a question and a guru answers the question very precisely, very concisely. Very beautiful to read. Every text is very, very unique. The style of Viveka Chudamani is very different than Atma Bodha, where he strikingly talks about Atma. It is a very beautiful layout of these Prakarana Granthas, where one is not the same as the another. There is a small text called Panchikarana. Very beautiful text to read, where Bhagavad Padacharya brings the essence of all the Upanishads. Say, giving the same idea in the form of Krishna Bhakti. Bhagavad Padacharya composes a grantha called Prabodha Sudhakara. It is a Prakarana Grantha, very beautiful text, where all the essential qualities that are needed for an aspirant are talked about in chapters and chapters in very simple layman terms. Very beautiful text called Prabodha Sudhakara, and so on. There are so many texts, including Ekashloki. In fact, a Mahatma said Bhagavad Padacharya is the only Acharya to have written, to have said what needs to be said in one shloka, Ekashloki, Dashashloki, and even Shatashloki, and Upadesha Sahasri. Say 1 or 10 or 100 or 1,000. Bhagavad Padacharya has a way to convey these ideas. Very beautiful text called Prakarana Granthas. And then Bhagavad Padacharya doesn't stop there. He has written so many stotras, starting from Ganesha to Dharma Shastra. There are to Hanumat Pancharatna. There are so many stotras attributed to Bhagavad Padacharya, and every stotra is beautiful because it gives the essence of the Vedantic teachings that are found in the Bhashyams of Bhagavad Padacharya. So, all the popular hymns that are generally sung or generally attributed to Shankaracharya, whether it is composed by him or not, but generally the mutts and the acharyas have published an authentic list that we generally accept as the original works of Bhagavad Padacharya. It was initially published by Vani Vilas Press and later now available in Samantha Books as 12 volumes of the complete works of Bhagavad Pada Shankara. It is worth having them and reading them. And in all these devotional works, there are a few that really stand apart, like Saundarya-Lahari, where the essence of all the Tantra Shastra is brought into with Bhakti and in the view of Vedanta. In fact, Bhagavad Padacharya is said to have composed it in Kashmir when he encountered many of the tantrics there. One of the Shankara Vijayams say that. But there is one other work called Shivanandalahari, which is the topic of today. This is a work of 100 verses, beautiful poetic verses in different meters, including Malini, Shardula, Vikritam, and so on and on and on. Every shloka is put out in a different meter, which is very lilting. And the central idea of this work is very, very unique. In fact, this idea is not seen in any other work of Bhagavad Padacharya. Bhagavad Padacharya starts this Shivanandalahari with a Mangala Acharanam, meditating on the form of Parvati Parameshwara together. Kalagapyam chudar krita shashikalabhyam nijatapaphalabhyam bhakteshu prakatita phalabhyam bhavatu me shivagabhyam अस्तोकत्रिभुवन शिवाभ्यां कृदि पुनर्भवाभ्याम् आनन्दस्फुरदनुभवाभ्याम् नतिरेयम् आनन्दस्फुरदनुभवाभ्याम् नतिरेयम् कलाभ्याम् चूडालंकृत शशिकलाभ्याम्. All of them are put in Dvivachana because of Parvati Parameshwara as a Yugala Swarupa that is meditated here. Both of them are wearing a crescent moon. Both of them are Nija Tapaf Palabhyam, or the result of each other's austerities. Shivabhyam, Astoka Tribhuvana Shivabhyam. They are the ones who can bestow auspiciousness on all of us. Hridi Punarbhavabhyam. That Parvati Parameshwara is available only in our own heart, as our own Atma. Hridi Punarbhavabhyam, as how? Ananda Spurad Anubhavabhyam Namaha Iti Yam. Natiriyam Iti. This is the Prathama Shloka of Shivanandalahari. When you talk about Shivanandalahari, Shivanandalahari is a very unique work, as I stated earlier. What is the uniqueness of Shivanandalahari? If you really look at it, it is very astonishing because there is a literature called Bhakti Sutrani by Narada Bhagavan. There are around 80 and odd sutras by Narada Bhagavan. 84 sutras, where like how we have Brahma Sutra, Dharma Sutra, the same way we have Bhakti Sutra. There is the sutra that is very popular is Yoga Sutra by Bhagavan Patanjali. Athato Yoga. Yogastu Chittavritti Nirodha ityadi. So small verse like that. Bhakti Sutra are the path of bhakti laid out by Narada and all the elements of bhakti that needs to be understood by a sadhaka that are put in very simple language by Narada. And when we were looking at this, I was astonished to see that Shivanandalahari of Bhagavad Padacharya serves as a wonderful commentary on every one of these sutras by Narada Bhagavan. There is, when you think about it, these Bhakti Sutras are available during the time of Bhagavad Padacharya, for sure. And Bhagavad Padacharya, having written a commentary on most of the sutras that are available, even Apastamba Adhyatma Patala, there is a commentary by Bhagavad Padacharya. In fact, there is a vritti for the Yoga Sutra commentary by Bhagavad Padacharya, generally attributed to Bhagavad Padacharya. But we don't know whether it is all by Bhagavad Padacharya or not. But definitely in that lineage, every one of them have taken to write a commentary on these important sutras. So what about Bhakti Sutra? For that, the answer is Shiva Ananda Lahari. The layout of Bhakti Sutra is into 5 different adhyayas. Prathamodhyaya talks about Parabhakti Swarupam. Dvitiyodhyaya talks about Parabhakti Mahitvam. Tritiyodhyaya Bhakti Sadhanani. Chaturtodhyaya Prema Nirvachanam. Panchamodhyaya Mukhya Bhakti Mahima. This is how the layout of these sutras are. They are not very hard to study. In fact, you could even study it without even a translation. That is how simple Narada Bhagavan has put Bhakti Sutra. It does not need a commentary. But then, the way in which Bhagavad Padacharya has approached this bhakti is simply astonishing. The Bhakti Sutra starts with Atato Bhaktim Vyakhyāsyāmaha. Now, we will talk about Bhakti. The Atha Shabda in Athato Brahma Jignasa is very interesting, where Bhagavad Padacharya puts Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, Samadhi Shattam, Mumukshuthvam Ityadin as the qualifications that are needed and are indicated by Atha Shabda, and saying that having attained those qualifications, now you are ready for Brahma Vichara. Basically, you are a mumukshu at that time. But this Atha Shabda does not mean that. It just says that you do not need any qualification for bhakti. Athato bhaktim vyakhyāsyāmaha. These sutras are simple aphorisms. They are full of meaning. In fact, the definition of sutra is Vishwato Mukham, as given by the commentators of sub-commentators of Brahma Sutra. They are simple aphorisms, small sentences strung together like a beautiful garland that is offered to Bhagavan. It is, in fact, in the Dvaita Sampradaya, if anybody would have noticed in some of the Dvaita mutts, they would do an archana with Brahma Sutra, just so that they keep that in practice. So, even for a common man, they'll say Om Atado Brahma Jignasa, Om Brahma, Om Janmadhyasayataha, Om Shastriyo Nitvat, Om. Like that, archana is done to Bhagavan. So that is how it is offered to Bhagavan, and Bhakti Sutras are the most appropriate ones to be offered to Bhagavan. How is Shivanandalahari a commentary on Bhakti Sutra? In fact, Bhagawan Ramana Bhagavan is the one who has really shed light on it. When somebody brought the 100 verses of Shivanandalahari, gave it to Bhagavan and said, Bhagavan, it is hard for me to read all 100 every day. Can you pick 10 of this and give it to me? Bhagavan simply took 10 verses from those 100 and wrote it in a certain sequence. He took the 61st verse first and wrote it, and then gave it to the sadhaka. If you really look at it, that is a beautiful commentary on the Bhakti Sutras of Bhagavan Narada. Kolam nija bija santatirayaska to palam suchika Ankolam nija bija santatirayaska to palam suchika Sadvinaija vibhum latakshitiruham Sindhuhu saridvallabham Prapnoti yatha tatha pashupatehe pada Aravindatvayam Cheto vrittirupetyatishtati sada sa bhakti rityuchyate. Sa bhakti iti uchyate. That is called bhakti. Sa. Because bhakti is a strilinga pada. Sa bhakti rityuchyate. What is bhakti? Ankolam nija bija santatirayaskanto palam suchika. Bhagavad Pada defines bhakti in different ways. And Narada Bhagavan in the sutra gives, this is the first sutra, after Atato Bhaktim Vyakhyasyamaha, the second sutra is Satu Asmin Para Prema Rupa. Sa, that bhakti. Sa, again, feminine gender. Tu, Asmin Atmani Ishware. In the Paramatma, who is not different from our own Atma. Parama Prema Rupa. It is in the form of intense love. In fact, the Upanishad gives this very beautifully. Modo Dakshina Pakshaha Pramoda Uttara Pakshaha Ananda Atma Brahmapucham Pratishtha. That starts with Priyame Vashiraha Modo Dakshina Pakshaha Pramoda Uttara Pakshaha Ananda Atma Brahmapucham Pratishtha. In Brahmapucham, the Shira is Priyame Vashiraha. That is what is put forward by Bhagavan Narada. Satu Asmin Parama Prema Rupa. What is that Parama Prema? Or that intense devotion? Because the word bhakti means bhajya sevayam is the dhatu. That is, which means to get attached by different means. What is this Parama Prema? Acharya defines Anko Golam Nija Bija Santatihi. Just as the Ankola fruit falling from the tree rejoins it automatically. This is a very interesting tree. If you go in deep Karnataka, anywhere for vacation, you can definitely ask for this tree and go see this tree. It's still available in Karnataka forests. Ankola tree, the seed falls. And when the seed falls, immediately it goes and attaches itself to the tree again. There is an attraction towards the tree. Anko Golam Nija Bija Santati Rayaskantopalam Suchika. A magnetic needle automatically points towards north. It is, and it is always attracted towards iron. No matter where you keep it, it will immediately turn. If it is a magnet, there is an automatic attraction. Satvi Naija Vibhum, like a lover always thinking of his beloved. Lata Kshitiruham, like a creeper automatically getting to a support for itself. Automatically, if you see a creeper, it will immediately go get into a pole or something that is nearby and start growing. Sindhusaridvallabham. Beautiful example where Bhagavad Padacharya says, when all the rivers that originate in some altitude and top of the mountains immediately fall towards and fall down and flow towards the ocean. Sindhu saridvallabham prapnoti hayata tatha pasupatehe padaravindatvayam. Yatha, like that, like how these are automatically attracted, these automatically flow, like that. Cheto vrittihi, when the thoughts that arise in our mind automatically travel towards the destination of the lotus feet of Parameshwara. That is called bhakti. When every thought that originates in my mind automatically goes and falls down in the lotus feet of Parameshwara, that is bhakti. Cheto vritti rupetya tishtati sada sa bhakti rityuchyate. Satu asmin parama prema rupa. Look at it. What a beautiful explanation that Bhagavad Padacharya gives for that sutra here. In fact, if you think of it, what in all from Ganesha to Hanuman, there are so many forms of Ishvara. For us, there is no difference in any form of Ishvara. So why did Bhagavad Padacharya pick Parameshwara as the Murti for Bhakti? If you really think about it, Kripa Nidhi இவரை போல கிடைக்குமோ இதரணிதனிலே சபாபதிக்கு வேறு தெய்வம் சமணமபூமதில்லை சபாபதிக்கு வேறு தெய்வம் சமணமபூமதில்லை சபாபதிக்கு வேறு தெய்வம் சமானமாகுமா கிருபாநிதி அக்கத்ரோண பிரபிருதி குசுமைஹி அர்ச்சனம் தே விதேயம் says Appayya Dikshita. The simplest form of Bhagavan is Parameshwara. You take a small stone or you take a lump of clay and then make it like a linga, you can start worshipping Parameshwara. He is that simple. You don't need elaborate things to worship Parameshwara. You can take small, largely available things and then start doing archanam for Parameshwara. He is such a sulabha murti. Kripanidhi ivarai pola kidaikumo in the tarani tannile, says Gopalakrishna Bharathi. That, and it is not that he is the simplest, he is the grandest of all murtis as well. If you go to a Shiva temple in South India, you will know there are innumerable forms of Parameshwara. Starting from the Moola Linga, there will be Somaskanda Murti, there will be Kalyana Sundara, there will be Bhikshatana, there will be Chandrasekhara, there will be Tyagaraja. There will be so many murtis of Parameshwara that it is in the procession of Parameshwara itself will be very grand, because he does not, he wouldn't come out like Perumal, just comes out just by himself, like not like that. For Parameshwara to come out, first Ganapati has to come, then Subramanya, then Ambal, then Parameshwara comes, and then Chandikeshwara, and so on. So Panchamurti is how they come out. So the grandest of the grandeur is available, and the simplest of all forms is Parameshwara. So such is the magnitude of Parameshwara's glory. So I think probably that is the reason why Bhagavad Padacharya took Shiva to explain Bhakti. This is the first sutra, and look at the beautiful explanation of Bhagavad Padacharya. He says, when all the thoughts that originate in our mind automatically travel. Why does it travel? Because sadhu asmin parama prema rupa. Parameshwara is prema swarupi. That is the reason why it travels towards Parameshwara. Amrita swarupa cha. So it is not just an emotion. So bhakti is not an emotion. So that is a very often made mistake by many, thinking that like how anger is a vritti, shoka is a vritti, santosha is a vritti, bhakti is not a vritti. When all the vrittis go away, the swarupa is ananda. Amrita swarupa, cha, amrita, immortality, swarupa, having as its essence, cha, this bhakti is amrita swarupa. This Amrita Swarupa is explained by Acharya in another shloka, or in Shivanandalahari. Bhaktir Makhesha Pada Pushkarama Vasanti Kadambini Vakurute Paritosha Varsham Sampurito Bhavati Yasya Manastataha Tajjanma Sasyamakilam Sapalanchanaanyate Bhaktir Mahesha Pada Pushkarama Vasanti. This Amrita Swarupa Bhakti, the thick cloud of Bhakti formed in the transcendental sky of the lotus feet, pours down a rain of bliss, Ananda, Amrita Swarupa, Ananda, and fills the lake of the mind to overflowing. Only then Jivas, always transmigrating to no useful end, has its real destination. So, Amrita Swarupa, Moksha Swarupa, that is the Janma Safalyam is attained through Bhakti. This is a commentary of the next verse chosen by Ramana Bhagavan, and look at it, it very beautifully fits with the second sutra of Bhakti Sutra. The third shloka that is taken up by Ramana Bhagavan is very interesting. Janana mriti yutanam sevaya devatanam na bhavati sukhaleshaha samshayo nasti tatra ajanimam amrita rupam sagam bhavisham bhajante ajanimam amrita rupam sambhamisham bhajante Sajiha Parama Saukyam Tehi Dhanya Labhante Yajiha Parama Saukyam Tehi Dhanya Labhante. Labhante. That verse is of that pada is available in the sutra. Yallabhva Puman Siddho Bhavati Amrito Bhavati tripto bhavati. Yat, which labdva, having gained, puman, a person, siddhaha, becomes perfect, bhavati. Amritaha, he becomes immortal, meaning he realizes his true nature, bhavati. Triptaha bhavati. There isn't anything else for him to attain. Janana mritiyutanam sevaya devatanam na bhavati sukhaleshaha samshayo nasti tatra. I do not have any doubt there because I'm not going to waste my time in things that have an origin and a date of expiration. Janana mriti yutanam sevaya. Let it be, let it be that of a devata. I do not care because it has a point in which it originated, and it is going to have a point in which it gets destroyed. I am interested in the imperishable. Janana mriti yutanam sevaya devatanam na bhavati sukhaleshaha samshayo nasti tatra. Ajanimamrita rupam sambamisham bhajante ya iha parama saukhyam tehi dhanya labhante. I am not interested in anything that has an origin and an end. And ajanim amrita rupam, that which is not born. Ajanim amrita rupam. Look at the sutra, amrita swarupa cha. That amrita rupam of Parameshwara, that whoever has that as their destination, tehi dhanya labhante ye yallabdva puman siddho bhavati amruto bhavati tripto bhavati, says Narada Bhakti Sutra. This verse serves as a beautiful commentary on the object of bhakti, where object of bhakti is Parameshwara. And Vachama gocharam bhakti is yat prapyata na kinchit vanchanti na shochati na dveshti na ramate notsahi bhavati, says Narada Bhagavan. Yat, which prapya, having attained, na kinchit, nothing vanchanti, he does not need anything. Sochati, does not lament on anything. Na dveshti, he does not hate anything. Na ramati, he does not rejoice anything. He is in his swarupa ananda. So any vishaya ananda is immaterial for him because bhakti and jnana are one and the same. It is just the way in which it is expressed is different. So having attained bhakti, which is the utmost to attain, which is the swarupa jnanam, he becomes tripto bhavati, notsahi bhavati. Vado Navalambhyaha is another sutra again by Bhagavan Narada, where he says, do not entertain yourself into unnecessary debate. What is unnecessary debate? Bhagavad Padacharya explains that in Shivanandalahari. Ghatopa mritpindo घटोपा मृत्पिण्डोऽप्यणुरपि च धूम्नोऽग्निरचलः पटो वा तन्तुर्वा परिहरति किं घोरशमनम् वृथा कण्ठक्षोभम् वहसि तरसात् तर्कवचसा पदाम्भोजं शम्भोर्भज परमसौख्यं व्रज सुधीः पदाम्भोजं शम्भोः भज परमसौख्यं व्रज सुधीः. How can logic or other polemics to be of real use? Can the gatapatas, they call it gatapata, gatopava, mritpindova, Acharya says all these logicians take into what is the Upadana Karana, what is the Nimitta Karana, what is the underlying cause of something. Is it Abhinna Nimittopada Karana or something like that? Astiva, Nastiva, Astinastiva, like the Jaina vicharas and so on. These vicharas are innumerable. Why then waste yourself thinking of them and on decisions? Stop. Experience the vocal organs and giving them pain is what they do. Vritha kantakshobham vahasi. Think of the feet of Lord and drink the nectar. Padam gojam shambho bhaja parama saukhyam vraja sudhihi he sudhi buddhe he uttama buddhe padambojam bhaja shambho padambojam bhaja parama saukyam vraja. It is a very beautiful, poetically presented commentary on these sutras. Vado navalambyaha yat prapyana kinchid vanchati na shochati na dveshti na rapate notsahi bhavati. He is not interested in any of these worldly arguments at all. Says Bhagavan, Narada, and also Bhagavad Padacharya as a commentary to that verse in Shivanandalahari. Yajnatva matto bhavati, stabdo bhavati, atmaramo bhavati. Yat, which jnatva, having known, mattaha, he becomes intoxicated. He is enjoying it. Bhavati, stabdaha bhavati, he is stunned. Atmaramaha, atve eva arama. He resides in himself. He resolves in the Atma as such, is his own nature, which is not different from the nature of Parameshwara. In fact, it's a very beautiful thing in Advaita Sampradaya where we say the nature of Ishvara and the nature of Jiva are one and the same. It might be an astonishing statement for others, but in the Advaita Sampradaya, it is a very simple statement because that is what the Upanishad says. It is the essence of the Vedas that says the nature of Paramatma and the nature of the Jivatma are one and the same, that they are Sat, Chit, and Ananda. If you Kinchitnyaha and Sarvajna, these are two different attributes. One is Sarvajna, which is Parameshwara, he is all knowing. I am a very limited knowledge person. That I between Parameshwara and me are one and the same, in the sense that essence, the nature of Parameshwara, which is Sat, Chit, and Ananda, is the same nature of a Jiva. If you leave out the Kinchinyatvam and the Sarvajnatvam, what remains? It's Sachidananda Eva. He is Sarvajnaha, Sarvasaktaha, Sarvasharanyaha, Sarvantaryamihi, Sarvavyapi, Sarvakarta, Sarva Niyanta. You can go on say all these Ananta Kalyana Gunas of Parameshwara. They are all valid. In fact, that is how we even surrender to him, saying Tvameva Sharanam Bhaje. That is how we surrender to Parameshwara. But having surrendered to Parameshwara, we ask that the very problem of samsara that we have, which is a misunderstanding as to for the question, who am I? That needs to be rectified by giving us the knowledge that we are not this mind, we are not this intellect, neti, 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 neti. Like that, we have to transcend all that we think that we are and then come to the conclusion that we are the Atma, which is the essence of all Vedanta. Atma Ramo Bhavati, which is also the very state of Bhakti. Vakshastadana vichalito vaivasvato nirjaraha kotirojjvala ratna deepa kalikani rajanam pulvate drishtva mukti vadhustanoti Muktivadhuhu tanoti nibhrita slesham bhavani bhavani pate ye yachetastava pada padma bhajanam tasyeha kim durlabham tasyeha kim durlabham Vakshastadana vichalito. He calls out on Parameshwara. Nothing is impossible is there to attain for him who sings about your holy feet. O concert of Bhavani, Drishtva Muktivadhus Tanoti. For the god of death runs away. Vakshastadana Shankaya vichalito Vaivasvato Nirjara. Afraid of kick from the Lord, lotus feet of the Lord. That lights shining in those jeweled tikara of all the devas in the diadem of the devas shows the offering of the camphor light. As then all the devas prostrate in front of you, the money that is there in top of their crowns are all like performing a nirajanam to you. Oh Parameshwara, what is not? And for when I think of that lotus feet of yours, that pretty bride called liberation folds him in tight embrace as soon as we engage in the Padamboja Bhajanam of Parameshwara, where where Parameshwara Bhajanam leads to Mukti through Atma Jnana, which is the essence of the sutra, which is also the essence of the verse here. Vakshastadana Shankaya Vichalito Vaivasvato Nirjaraha Koti Projwala Ratna Deepa Kalika Nirajanam Kurvate Drishtva Muktivathustanoti Nibhrita Shlesham Ashlesham Muktivathu Tanoti Bhavanipate Yachetastava Pada Padma Bhajanam Tasyeha Kim Durlabham Atmaramo Bhavati Mukto Bhavati Stabdo Bhavati Matto Bhavati Yat Jnatva. Having known that, having known the true nature that is known through bhakti, that nature of one, he attains mukti in itself. Nasti teshu jati vidya rupa kula dhana kriyadi bheda. This is a very beautiful sutra where Narada Bhagavan says, among all these bhaktas or the people who take up bhakti as a marga, na asti teshu jati. There is no difference in caste or creed or religion or nationality of this. Because anything else is set for an adhikari. There is nothing wrong in it. It is set for a certain group of people or for a certain lifestyle or a certain demographic and so on. But bhakti is a universal phenomenon. Na asti teshu jati vidya, wisdom, rupa, their own physical nature, kula, their family, dhana, their financial status, kriyadi bhedaha na asti. Acharya puts it very beautifully. Naratvam devatvam nagavana mrigatvam machakata pashutvam kidatvam bhavatu vihagattvadi jananam sada tvatpadabjasmarana paramanandalahari vihara saktam vihara saktam chet hridaya miha kim tena vapusha vihara saktam kim tena vapusha naratvam devatvam. Let me be a human, or let me be a divine deva. Devatvam nagavana mrigatvam. Let me be an animal that runs around in the forest or in the mountains, naga vana mrigatvam, machakata, or even a small mosquito that comes and bites people. Who cares? There is a very, because Parameshwara is such a unique murti. There are kshetrams where even a small ant has done bhakti. Yerumbur near Trichy is a place where a yerumbu, a small ant, has done bhakti. A spider does bhakti of Parameshwara in Kalahasti and in Jambukeshwara. An elephant does bhakti. A, na, a crane does bhakti. A sparrow does bhakti. Parrot does bhakti. அரிய புலையர் மூவர் பாதம் அடைந்தார் என்றே புராணம் அறிந்து சொல்ல கேட்டோம் கோபாலகிருஷ்ணன் பாடும் தில்லை சபாபதிக்கு அரிய புலையர் மூவர் जाति विद्या रूप कुल धन क्रियादि भेदाः न अस्ति पशुत्वं कीटत्वं भवतु विहगतात्वादि जननम. It really does not matter what kind of a birth I have, what kind of a financial status I have, what kind of a company that I have. Sadatvat padabja smarana paramananda lahari. That wave and wave of bhakti, if it takes in the form of a thought in my sada, always tvat padabja smarana paramananda lahari vihara saktam ched hridayamiha kim tena vapusha. What does it matter that his physical form is? Says that's exactly the essence of the sutra as well. And Bhagavad Pada's verse serves as a beautiful commentary. There are much more verses. Baturva, Gehiva, Yatirva, Keshi Mundi, Lunchita Keshaha, Udarati Mittam, Bhukrita Kesha. And same idea is expressed by Bhagavad Padacharya in different places very beautifully. As long as the lotus feet of Parameshwara is kept in our mind, then automatically that leads to one's realization as to the true nature of oneself, that leads to mukti. Sa na kamayamana nirodha rupatva. Sa, that devotion, service in pure love of Ishvara, na kamayamana, does not desire anything. Nirodha, because of because everything else is renounced, because the true nature is realized. Nirodhat rupatvat, nirodha rupatva, says Narada Bhagavan. Bhagavad Padacharya says, Guhayam yeva Bhagirapi vaneva drishikare Jaleva vandhau vasatu vasate he kim vadaphalam sada yasyevantah karanamapi shambho tava pade sthitam sada yasyevantah karanamapi shambho tava pade sthitam chet yogosau sacha parama yogi cha sukhi shambho tava pade sthitam chet yogo asau cha parama yogi cha sukhi guhayam geheva. Be it in a cave, guhayam geheva, be it in a house, vaneva adrishikare, be it in a top of the mountain, adrishikareva vaneva, be it in a forest, be it in the water, Jaleva Vanhova, be it in fire. Vasatu Vasate Kim Vadapalam. Please tell me, what does it matter when he lives in any of these environments? He means that, oh, I live in a very warm place, or I live in a very cold place. Does it really matter? Because if you really think about it, to perform karma, all these are needed. You have to really, for somebody to perform Nitya Agnihotra, he has to live somewhere near the equator. Because if you live anywhere, other part of the world, it is impossible to do Nitya Agnihotra. Guhayam Geheva. It is impossible to do Agnihotra even in the Guha. You have to be in a Geha. But for Bhakti, all this is immaterial. Guhayam Geheva Bahirapi Vane Vadri Shikare Jaleva Vanhau Vasatu Vasate Kim Vadaphalam Sada Yasyaivantak Karanamapi Shambho Tava Pade Yasya Antakarana, that the inner mind of one rests, for whom it rests on the holy feet of Shambhu. That is yoga. He is the greatest yogi and he will be the happiest of all. Sacha Sukhi Paramayogi Shambhu. Sa na kamayamana. He does not desire, because any other karma has to be propelled by a desire. Swargakamo Jyotishtomo Vijayata. For somebody to do a Phaka Yajna or a Shaka Yajna or something else, there is a desire to do all these. The amount of ishtis that are there are innumerable. In fact, there will be an ishti in people who follow that path in every other week, actually. It is such a hard path. And the phalam is not Atmanjanam. The phalam is simply Swargakama. You can get to a better place, that's all. This kind of a migration really does not help. In fact, most of the immigrants to the US would have realized that that kind of a migration has really not helped. So it really does not matter where you live. It does matter where your mind travels on a constant basis, says Bhagavad Padacharya. That is a commentary on this sutra, Sana Kamayamana Nirodha Rupatvad. Pujadishvanuraga iti parasharyaha. I'm not sequencing the sutras like that, because there are 80 and odd sutras, 83 sutras. Well, I'm picking and choosing the sutras that Ramana Bhagavan has picked in these 10 to show that this 100 can be really done the same way as to how these 10 are being done. Then in the next chapter, Bhagavan Narada puts out different views by different Mahatmas saying, what is Bhakti? Putting one's mind towards a physical act of puja and to have an anuraga, a liking for external puja, meaning expressing one's love to of Ishvara in the form of a puja, is called bhakti. Says Parasharyaha, the son of Parashara, Parasharyaha, Vasudevaha, Dasharatihi, ityadi. Parasharyaha, Parasharya Parvasupam Vivrunotu, Parasharyaha Vyasa Bhagavan, ityarthaha. The marks of devotion are now described according to various views. That is how the sutra goes. And one sutra is Vyasa, offering of Parashara, defines bhakti as devotion to act of worship and the like that. Meaning, expressing one's devotion to Ishvara in an outward way is called bhakti, says Bhagavan Vyasa. How should that be expressed? Bhagavan Bhagavad Padacharya has a very beautiful verse for this. Vishati vijane ghora vipine vishale shaile bhramati usumartham jadamatihi Samarpyaikam chetas sarasijamuma bhavato सुखेन अवस्थातुं जनैः न जानाति किमहो गभीरवेकासारे विशति घोरविपीने विशाले शैले च भ्रमति कुसुमार्थं जडमतिः समर्प्यैकं चेतः सरसिजमुमानथ भवते सुखेन अवस्थातुं जनैः न जानाति किम् अहो अहो laments Bhagavad Padacharya. न जानाति, they don't know something. What is that they don't know? गभीर वेकासारे विशति विजने घोर विपिने विशाले शैले च भ्रमति कुसुमार्थं जडमतिः. Oh, those dull-witted people search and hunt. गभीरे कासारे विशति घोर विपिने विशाले शैले च. In all these difficult places, they go and search for flowers to be offered to Parameshwara. Isn't Parameshwara the most simplest of all forms of Ishvara? What is the flower that really needs to be offered to Parameshwara? Because if you really go and look at the list of, in the Agamas, there is a very beautiful list of things that need to be offered to every Devata. The Arugampul, as we call in Tamil, the Durva Patram is the one that is very auspicious to be offered to Ganesha. Like that, all hibiscus flowers and lotus flowers and stuff like that are to be offered to Devi. Tulasi leaves are to be offered to Mahavishnu. Bilva is very auspicious for Parameshwara and so on. These are not very easily to be attained. Those are all true. But if you want to go get a Bilva, actually there are very big thorns in the Bilva tree. You really cannot climb a Bilva tree at all. You really have to have a way by which you pull down the branch and then get some Bilvas, because it will really prick you by the time you really get off. In fact, a Maharishi called Vyagrapada asked Parameshwara to give him the feet and claws of a tiger so that he could get on to these difficult places and get flowers that were not being touched by the bees, and the honey is intact in those flowers, so that he could bring them all and then offer to Nataraja in Chidambaram. That was the great devotion of that Vyagrapada. But is offering that flower the real devotion? Bhagavad Padacharya says, no, don't do that. Gabhire kasare vishati ghora vipine vijane. Don't go into all these places that are difficult to obtain these flowers. Sukhena bastatum jana iha na janati. These people does not know how to be really relaxed and offer one flower that is already available. What is that one flower that is already available? Chetas sarasijamumanatha. The heart lotus of oneself need to be offered to Parameshwara. Chetas sarasijamumanatha bhavate. Sukhena Vasthadum. Having offered that one heart lotus, these people do not know how to really relax. The puja that is offered to Parameshwara needs to be offered with love. That is the message that is given here. Pujadishu anuragaha iti parashatyaha. Tatra anuragaha eva pradhanam. The anuraga, the love that one's have, because you can do puja with bhakti. What is the, and you can do puja without bhakti. Puja can be very mechanical. In fact, if you do Nritya puja, it becomes very mechanical. Sometimes you have to stop and think that Oh, Parameshwara, it is my fortune that I am able to see you today in this form and really prostrate. Rather than that, Om Avahayami, Stapyami, Pujayami, Vadyam Samarpyami, Arkim Samarpyami, Ajamaniyam Samarpyami, Snapyami, Saranantram Ajamaniyam Samarpyami, Vastrotriyadi, Saptopjaran Samarpyami, Aksharan Samarpyami, Rukmani Samarpyami, Dubandrisham, Dibandrasham. This can go on and on and on. But what is needed? Not these sequence, it really doesn't matter. In fact, there is a very beautiful Manasa Puja by Sadashiva BrahmendraL where he says, how can I even do avahanam of a Parameshwara who is Sarva Vyapi? Nitya Shuddha Vastu, how can I even clean him? How can I offer Bhagyam? That person who does not even have an end on the top or an end in the bottom, how can I even offer Argyam or a Padgyam to that Parameshwara? That kind of a Manasa Puja is called a Nirguna Manasa Puja. Very beautiful Manasa Puja by Acharya also have done this in that same fashion. Sadashiva Brahmendra, who is a Jnani Bhakta, has done a composition like that that is beautiful to study. Acharya says, here the essence is to offer one's heart lotus. Sukhena avasthatum na jana iha na janati kim aho. That any act that is done towards Ishvara has to be done with devotion. Devotion is the key element. It could be singing a bhajan, it could be offering a pranam, it could be going around the temple, it could be going on a pilgrimage, it could be taking a bath in a river, it could be any of these. But anything that is done without the love towards Parameshwara is just a mechanical affair. In fact, I had a guru who taught me Shivanandalahari. He was 90 plus years old. He was in the house opposite to where I lived. And the people in his house had extreme devotion towards Arvindo and Mother in Pondicherry. And one of the things that they used to do is go to all kinds of places and then pick flowers that are very, very unique because in their system, every flower has a meaning. So they will pick all kinds of flowers and bring those flowers. They will spend hours together traveling to be able to get a flower and then bring. And when they bring and come and offer, and my guru used to say, Gabhi Kasare Vishati Vijane Ghora Vipine Vishale Shaile Cha Dhramati Kusumartham Jadamati Samarpikam Chetas Sarasijammat Bhavate Sukhena Vastatum Janaiha Janati Kimaho. The 10th verse is very beautiful. Tattu Vishayatyagate Sankatyagate cha Avyavritta Bhajana. To attain the Supreme One, one must renounce the object of sense pleasure as well as attachment to them. One achieves bhakti by giving up sense gratification and mundane association. Another sutra, the sutra or 80-ish, and everyone has a verse. And Ramana Bhagavan has picked these 10 as a sequence that really fits as a commentary to all these sutras. And different sutras are related to different verses in Shivanandalahari. In fact, it will be a wonderful study for anybody to do and look at Shivanandalahari and Bhakti Sutras of Naradas like this. Ya idam Narada proktam Shivanushasanam Vishwasiti Shraddhade sa Bhaktimane Bhavati Saha Preshtham Bhavate Sa Preshtham Bhavate. This is the last sutra. Whoever believes in this auspicious description of Bhakti, the divine love by Narada, and has faith in these teachings becomes a Bhakta of Ishvara, lover of Ishvara, attains the highest supreme goal. Preshtham labhate. He attains preshtham labhate, preshtham labhate. Saying it twice really emphasizes it. That is how the sutras end. And Shivanandalahari also ends in a very, very beautiful, the 91st verse. Adya vidya kritgata nirgata asi Vidya Kridya Kridgata Tvatprasadat Setyam Shrikaram Tvatpadabjam Bhave Mukter Bhajanam Rajamam Adyaga Vidya Hridgata Nirgata Sid Vidya Hridya Tvatprasadat Shambho Tvatprasadat Adya Vidya Hridgata Nirgata Sid Vidya Hridya Hridgata Tvatprasadat Rajamoule. Hey Rajamoule, who shines with the moon in his crown, Rajamoule. The primal ignorance that used to live in my heart, Adya Vidya Hridgata. From that beginningless avidya, avidya is always beginningless. Ignorance is beginningless. You can put an end to ignorance by knowing something. When somebody asks, how long do you know this person? You can say, I know this person for 2 years. I met him during that event. But if somebody says, how long have you not known this person? Avidya is adya. All through my existence until the last 2 years, I did not know this person. In fact, there is no beginning to the not knowing. Adya vidya hridgata nirgata seet. Then how did it go away? How did that ignorance? Vidya hridya hridgata tvatprasadat. Because of Ishvara Prasada, the knowledge that shines in my heart has given the true nature of myself. Having known that, Seve Nityam Shrikaram Tvatpadabjam. I Seve Nityam. I prostrate onto you all the time. Nityam Seve. Shrikaram Tvatpadabjam Bhave. Mukter Bhajanam Rajamaule. Rajamaule. Mukter Bhajanam. So I meditate on your lotus feet, which gives only good and grants salvation. Becomes greatly profitable. Who else could it be? Hey Rajabaule, Mukter Bhajanam. Seve Nityam Shrikaram Tvatpadabjam. Bhave Mukter Bhajanam Rajamoule. Trajivedyam Hrityam Tripuraharamadhyam Trinayanam Jatabarodaram Chaladuragaharam Prigadaram Mahadevam Devam Mayi Sadaya Bhavam Pashupatim Chidalambam Shambam Shivam Atividambam Hridi Bhaje. These 100 verses of Shivanandalahari are so beautiful and act as a commentary and a way by which we can easily understand the sutras of Narada. Not just like that, it is presented as a hymn on Parameshwara where we can do bhakti then and there. It is not as though you have to study the text and then go do something else. Studying Shivanandalahari, Anandalahari, the ocean of Shiva Ananda itself is the beauty of this work of Bhagavad Padacharya. I just wanted to take 1 minute to show that this is no way in contradiction with any of the other works of Acharya, because Bhagavan himself says, Tesham satadayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogantam yenamam upayanti te in Bhagavad Geetha. Desham Satata Yuktanam, Nityabhyuktanam. This is the commentary of Bhagavad Padacharya. Nivritta Sarva Brahmaishanam Bhajatam Sevamananam Kim Artitwadina Karanena Nitya Netyaha Preeti Purvakam, Preeti is Sneha. That is what is Bhakti. Preeti Purvakam. Whoever approaches me with Preeti, with that Bhakti, Tat Purvakam Mam, Bhajatam Ityartaha, Dadami, Prayachami, Buddhi Yogam, Buddhi, Samyak Darshanam. मत्तत्व विषयम तेन योगः बुद्धि योगः तम बुद्धि योगम येन बुद्धि योगेन सम्यक् दर्शन लक्षणेन मां परमेश्वरम आत्मभूतम आत्मत्वेन उपयान्ति प्रतिपद्यन्ते के ते ये मच्चित्तत्वादि प्रकारैः मां भजन्ते किमर्थम कस्य वा तत् he says why should they be selected because Ishvara cannot have Vaishamya Nirgrinya dosha as per Vedanta. He cannot favor anybody or he cannot he hate anybody. He is equivalent to anybody. He is equivalent to the people who praise him and he is equal to the people who say there is no Ishvara at all. So that is the Lakshana of Ishvara. If that is the case, then Tesham Sapate Yuktanam Bhajatam Puriti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam. How is that possible? Because Acharya says in the next verse, तेषाम् अनुकंपार्थम अहम अज्ञानजं तमः नाशयामि आत्मभावस्तो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता. That I light the lamp of knowledge in their heart, and that jnana results in ignorance being driven away from the hearts of a bhakta, and then he sees his own true nature. So, if a question is asked, if is bhakti a direct means to mukti, the answer is yes. And how bhakti results in atma jnana and atma jnana results in mukti, because mukti is attained only through Atmajnana, because the problem of samsara, as we started in the Adhyasa Bhashya, is that there is a problem in the identification as to the question, who am I? So that question can only be answered by the very understanding as to who am I, but that is being done by Parameshwara as Tesham anukampartham, with that karuna of Parameshwara, ajnanajan tamaha, that darkness of ajnana is nashayami, atma bhavastaha, in their hearts, how Gnana Deepena bhaswata. In fact, this Gnana Deepa, if you look at the commentary is right there in front of you. Gnana Deepena, Viveka Pratyaya Rupena, Bhakti Prasada Snehabhiyuktena, Madbhava Niveshe. Very beautifully, Bhagavad Padacharya goes and explains how this Gnana Deepa is lit. What is the real lamp? What is the oil? What is the wick? What is the light? And so on. In fact, this resonates very beautifully. In fact, I do not know whether Alvar knew Acharya knew Alvar, but the very same sentiment is echoed by Alvar. Anbe tagaliyai arvamenaiyai inpurugu chindai iditiriyai nanpurugi ஞான சுடர் விளக்கேற்றினேன் நாரணர்க்கு ஞான தமிழ் புரிந்தனா. This Deepa, Gnana Deepena, Gnana Vilak is what is presented here in the Bhashyam of Acharya as well. So let Parameshwara, the all graceful Ishvara, bless us with the ability to study the works of Acharya and be devoted to the lotus feet of Parameshwara. Namah Parvati Pataye Hara Hara Mahadev.
Namaste. Namaskaram, everybody. What a wonderful presentation. Certainly, Arvindji, you have lit the Gnana Deepa or Gnana Chudar, and hopefully the Valakku of Jnanam can shine forth from here. What a wonderful discourse, starting with a basic introduction or a teasing appetizer sort of to the various Vedanta basic works of Sri Acharya, and touching upon those, just giving us a little bit of a peek into his various works, and then coming down to the mainstream topic of today, which was Shivanandalahari, and what a wonderful way to pick up the parallelism between Saint Narada's Bhakti Sutras and bringing them to light with the corresponding verses from Shivanandalahari. And obviously, Mahans are all playing a part here with Bhagawan Ramana Maharishi's recommendations of these picks. What more could we ask for? Thrown in with wonderful explanations from various Mahans, not to mention great composers like Gopalakrishna Bharathi, Sadashiva BrahmendraL, and so on. We were treated to 1.5 hours of very delightful wave after wave of these verses. It's very obvious to all of us that the Mahapurusha Samshraya that Aravind Ji has enjoyed, and is able to share glimpses of some of those, are very beneficial to us, and we look forward to more and more of these. Obviously, we have not been aware of the extent of his knowledge. We have a pokisham, a treasure in our backyard, and hopefully with the Lord's grace, we'll be blessed with more and more of these kind of lecture talks. On behalf of KKSF, our sincere Kritagyatvam, Aravind Ji, for putting together this wonderful presentation and exposing us again to this Gnana chudar. Just as an announcement for everybody's sake, we have Kanchi Paramacharya Sri Mahaperiva's 130th Jayanti coming up on this Vaigasi Anusham, which is a couple of days away. On this Saturday, June 3rd, you'll be joining Gayatri Temple, GG Temple, and in Streamwood, Illinois, as they celebrate Mahaperiva's 130th Jayanti Puja. This starts at 8:30 in the morning. Please do join us. And we thank you all, everybody in the audience, for joining us at the monthly Kamakoti Parayana Mandali programs. And we look forward to your continued support. On behalf of all of us again here at KKSF, all the volunteers, all of us, again, our thanks to you, Aravind Ji, for this lively presentation. And we hope we get more of these in the future. Thank you.